a fun video. In the previous videos I've presented most of my watch collection so far, and in this video I am gonna battle them against each other to see who is the big winner. Now, whether you have a big collection or you are considering a purchase, I hope this video will be useful to you as I go through my process of selecting my favorite watches of the collections. I think if you're looking at purchasing a watch soon, maybe one of these, it will be interesting for you to see what I think of them looking back at this point. And if you have many watches like me, I would encourage you to do the same process and pit them against each other and see what kind of feeling that evokes in you. And maybe you will also decide to pare down your collection. I have not decided really to sell many of these watches. Some of them I've decided already that I'm gonna sell, but other ones I'm not quite sure yet. And I think this video will be helpful to me to sort of narrow down my taste and express the feelings I have for each of these watches. So I've separated the watches on the right between the sports, and on the left the dressier pieces. I had to make some arrangements just so I would have a qualifying stage that was sort of balanced. Obviously the Omega Aquaterra is kind of a sports watch. It is a sports watch. Actually all my watches here I think are sports watches, most of them at least. But the ones on the left are on the dressier side. Alright, without further ado, let's start the Battle Royale. And we start with the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra, which is the real heavyweight, obviously. You could tell already that this one is going to go far in the competition, which doesn't mean it's the one I wear the most. And that's the interesting thing about this competition, is that sometimes you get attached to a watch which is not as expensive, but it's a watch that you enjoy wearing, or it's a watch that works well with your clothes. So that's important for you to consider when you buy watches or when you want to pare down your collection, is which watches do you wear the most, which ones suit your wrist, which ones suit your clothes, which ones suit your lifestyle. But anyway, Zeppelin versus Omega. The Zeppelin is very nice. It's a big blue dial. It's an old dial here. Looks fantastic with jeans, and looks great as well, obviously, with suits, with blue suits. It's an ETA movement, and but it beats at 28,800 beats per hour, which is the only way in which this watch actually takes the lead over the Omega, which only beats at 25,200 beats per hour. But apart from that, the Omega movement obviously is the super master coaxial chronometer movement, caliber 8500, resistance to magnetism to a very strong degree. It looks gorgeous. It's shiny, very sturdy. It can go underwater. It's almost the perfect everyday watch, at least for me, because I love blue and I play guitar, as I said before, so I need this resistance to magnetic fields. So while the Zeppelin I still enjoy, it was my entry into this automatic watch thing, I'm gonna have to give it to the Omega Seamaster, because it's the one that I do wear the most, and it's the most versatile and the most solid. Now, I've dreaded this comparison. We have the Seiko Sox 055 with the gorgeous frosted dial, titanium case, super light, beautiful bracelet, a bracelet that looks quite a bit like the Omega Moonwatch's bracelet. And on the right, my favorite complication, and a beautiful, beautiful Swiss watch, a case that reminds me of much more expensive pieces. Lovely execution here, and my first exposition to the Hamilton brand, and I find it fantastic, really. It's got the two crowns, which is a look that I love, and the GMT arrow there in red. It is the Hamilton Jazzmaster GMT. So, which one to keep? This is the hardest match for me, I think, in this whole competition, at least in the first stage, because the Seiko is the missing link between Seiko and Grand Seiko. You have a lot of the things that you find in the titanium Grand Seiko Snowflake, and the Hamilton is my favorite complication, and I was really surprised by the quality of it. So it's really, really difficult to choose a winner. I wear both as much as I wear each one as much as the other one. So I'm sure you guys, a lot of you guys Seiko fans will say, no way the Hamilton can compete with the Seiko here. But you know, they come at the same price. Well, actually I got the Hamilton for a bargain. But they retail at the same price. And the quality is there. You know, the Hamilton has an ETA beating at 28,800 beats per hour. The Seiko doesn't compete with that. It's only 6 ticks a second. But the 6R15 is much more accurate out of the box. And it's been the same for all my 6R15s. I don't know how it will evolve, if in the long term the 6R15s are as good as the ETA 2824 or that family of ETAs. Only time will tell. Now, looking at both like this, to be honest, I kind of prefer the Hamilton. I think the Seiko is slightly too big. It's a bit too much dial. It would have been a bit better at 39 or 38 millimeter, but still 40 millimeter isn't that big. And I often find myself looking at the Grand Seiko listings on eBay and Chrono 24 and dreaming about owning one. So this is like almost being there, as close as you can get. Very difficult match. Well, put in your comments down below. Let me know what you think. For now, I'm gonna leave it as a tie. Ooh, it will be the only one, I promise. The other, I will be less indecisive with the other ones. But here, I wouldn't want to have to sell either of these watches, at least until I get another GMT watch of a better manufacturer. Let's leave it at that for now and see what happens in the next round. Saab 033, Saab 035, the black one is the 33. You know these watches well, fantastic watches, the best watches for the price, for 300 bucks. Really beautiful. They remind you of the Rolex and the Grand Seiko. So it's just a choice between the colors, and for me the classic one is the black one. The cream is nice, but I always recommend getting the black first, and if you have a bit of extra money afterwards, get the cream. But the black is really the business, and it's a lot more versatile. So the Saab 033 wins. Not a day goes by without someone asking me where they can buy one of these cool Seiko Rolex homages. I got all three colors, and I think the most original has to be the two-tone bracelet with this silver, almost champagne dial. But undoubtedly the other two are really cool as well. Really depends on your mood. Continuing with the Seiko homage type watches, here in the back on the picture, because I don't have it with me, it's the SNKK 59, which is sort of a homage between the AP Royale Oak for the shape and the dial of the Rolex Explorer. And on the right here you have a very rare SNZF 35K1, which looks like a bank vault, as my friend Chris would say. Hi Chris. And it is an homage to the IWC Ingenieur, and it is so rare and so unusual, with lots of cool things happening on the dial, that I think it will be my pick today. SNZF 35K1. Good luck to find one of these. Moving across to the sports section of our competition, on the right we have the mighty, legendary, gorgeous Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch. I love wearing it. It feels great on the wrist, slightly on the heavy side, but it's very comfortable still. And I love the color combination And when you wear this, you have incredible confidence. And it's a watch that you find in very big, expensive collections. I absolutely love the watch, and I don't want to sell it. Now on the left side, we have the Omega Speedmaster Racing. Incredibly cool watch, not as well known, but a fantastic execution here. It is more compact, it is COSC certified, you have the date, you have a better water resistance, the chronometer function works great. Really a fantastic watch with the Clou de Paris finish in the sub-dials. Unique look, and I love to wear it on the weekend, very comfortable. And so it's a very difficult decision here. I don't want to sell either of these, but for the sake of the competition, I will have to go for the Moonwatch, just because it is certified by NASA. And now for a slightly uneven pairing, we have on the right the Longines Legend Diver, no date version, very hard to find, appreciating in price, very comfortable, gorgeous classic style, you know, it's the reissue, very faithful of 60s diver in this super compressor format with the 2 crowns. And on the left, also with 2 crowns, we have the famous Seiko Alpinist, the recent version of it, at least. The first ones came out in the 60s as well. So a long history as well. It's a field watch, very playful colors and a lot of fun. But I've been wearing it quite a lot, and I've grown a bit wary of it. Obviously, it's a much cheaper watch, but it keeps very accurate time with the 6R15 movement and a DiaShock system. On the right in the Longines, you have an ETA, and there is no problem with it either. But yeah, if I have to keep one, both are good everyday watches. They're sports watches that you can wear also with a suit. A bit harder with the green of the Seiko, of course. The Longines is just one of those watches that can be your only watch. You know, it's a fantastic watch. Great color combinations here. It's not too flashy, and definitely it is my pick in this fight. Now it's time to pick one diver out of my 6 Seiko diver watches, and let's do them 2 by 2. Here is on the right the mighty titanium Seiko Shogun. Love it. I could wear this all week. This could be my only watch. It is absolutely fantastic. And on the left you have the legendary gorgeous little, well, not so little, Seiko SKX007 Japanese version, which you have to shake to make a run, which is a bit annoying for me because I have too many watches, so I don't get to wear it every day. So I have to reset the time and shake it quite a bit to have it going. And yeah, overall the way it wears is not as nice as my other divers maybe. So in this round, I'm gonna pick the Shogun. Let's battle the 53s. On the right, the recent SPB 53, and on the left, the SRPB 53, the Samurai. And a lot of you will probably choose the one on the right, but I'm gonna surprise you here and choose for choose the Samurai. I think everything in the design of the Samurai is perfect. It wears fantastic. I love the hands, the markers, the bezel. The side of the bezel is lovely. The crown is very original. It wears very, very well. The one on the right, the SPB 53, has some design issues, you know, in the choice of the markers, in the choice of the hands, and it's quite heavy, quite top heavy, and a bit too large for me. So in this round, although it is half the price, I'm going for the Samurai. Now here are the 2 recent turtle models. On the right, the very sought after Black Series turtle in the regular size, and on the left, the reduced size paddy version of the turtle. Absolutely lovely. I love the wavy dial, the color combinations, the blue bracelet. It's very comfortable. It suits my wrist a bit better. And I'm gonna have to surprise you here again, and I'll go for the one on the left, the mini turtle, because I love these colors, and I've been wearing the watch at night in the shower, playing with the kids, and it is fantastic. I have to be a bit more precious with the black one on the right because it's a limited edition, but it is really cool, you know, and if it was my own turtle, I would really love it, and I'm definitely keeping that one as well in the collection. But if I have to choose a favorite, it's the mini paddy. So it comes down to these three Seiko divers. Let's just take a second to look at the beautiful styling of these watches. I think Seiko does an amazing job, and that's what they are known for, you know, really cool designs at affordable prices. Of course, the Shogun is the more expensive here. It's almost $1,000, but it is extremely comfortable with all titanium case and bracelet. I love wearing the mini paddy. It has kind of replaced the samurai in my heart at the moment. But so between this paddy and the Shogun, they're quite different, you know, at different prices, different colors. And if I have to keep one, obviously I'm gonna have to go for the Shogun. It is the big dog. But I love those three watches, and I have no plan to sell any of them at the moment. And finally, for this qualifying round, we have the three Seiko Pilot watches. The two Flight Masters, the black with a white version, the black with gold version, and here we have an automatic piece from the Prospex line, the SRPB 59. It's a bigger watch with a cream dial, so it's an acquired taste. It's a bit too big for me. So in this round, I'm gonna have to go for the classic version of the Seiko Flight Master. Here is the situation after this savage first round. The Omega Aquaterra moves on, and we're going to pit it against actually not just the Hamilton but also the SOC 055 because both are really, really cool. At the bottom of the left dressier side, we have the Saab 33 and the two homage watches from Seiko. And on the right side, we have the Omega Moonwatch, which is going to fight the Longines Legend Diver, and at the bottom we have the Seiko Shogun versus the Flight Master. Here we are. I couldn't choose between the Hamilton GMT and the Seiko SOX 55, but now that we duel them or fight them against the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra, well, I don't think there's really a competition here. The Omega is much more capable watch. It has a better movement. Obviously, a lot more research and development goes into that movement versus the very basic movement which you find in the other watches. And so this begs the question, should you spend a lot more money to get one super watch, or should you buy 2, 3, 4 mid-level watches? It's difficult at first to put your mind into it, you know, and to buy such an expensive thing when you just get into the hobby. But you know, eventually you're gonna get there. And I did the same when I was purchasing guitars. I bought 20 mid-range guitars before I bought my first custom shop Gibson, and then there was no turning back. And then once you've passed that threshold, you're okay to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 grand into an item. So maybe don't rush too fast into buying many mid-level watches, and just aspire at getting something of a better quality, and in the end you will save money. But that doesn't mean I don't get as much enjoyment with the Hamilton and the Seiko as I get wearing the Omega. Not at all. I really enjoy them because they're very different. They do different things very well. One is titanium, has a great dial. The other one has a GMT function and a beautiful case. And, you know, very cool watches. I'm going to keep all three. But for today, I have to choose the Omega Aquaterra. And let's put the three Seikos here together. There's no need to waste too much time. The two homage watches are really, really cool, and it's fun to see them together here. But the real classic here is the Seiko Saab 033 and it's the one that's going to go to the next round. Now the very interesting things start happening here. We have this gorgeous Longines Legend Diver, which has increased in price almost 2 or 3-fold, and used is almost as expensive as a brand new Omega Moonwatch, if you can believe it. Of course, it only runs an ETA movement, but it's accurate. It has a great water resistance of 300 meter, and both watches are great everyday watches and great sports watches. One can go to the moon, and one can go quite deep in the ocean. It's almost impossible to choose. So I will just say that the one I wear the most, at least right now, is the Moon Watch. It just feels fantastic. It's a very special, although the Longines is maybe slightly more comfortable to wear. But for the sake of the competition, I'm gonna have to go with the Moon Watch again. Shogun versus Flightmaster. This is a lot easier. I think there's not much of a question here. One is 5 times more expensive, and it's in titanium. It's automatic, and I absolutely love it. So the Shogun goes through. And so we reach the semifinals. Aquaterra versus Saab 33 and Moonwatch versus Shogun. Let's go. And so these are the two champions in the everyday watch segment. Let's say on the right, if your budget is $300, you can't go wrong with the Seiko Saab 33. On the left, if your budget is $3,000 to $5,000, you can't go wrong with the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra. Obviously, it's a bit of an unfair competition. One has a much better movement and a much better finish, but both are incredibly enjoyable to wear every day. And I do often wear my Saab 33. So don't get me wrong, both are very cool, and money doesn't really matter sometimes. You can have as much enjoyment at $300 as you can have when you spend a lot more. But it's a competition, and the winner here is again the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra. Well, it doesn't get any more badass than these two, the Moonwatch and the Shogun. I don't have Rolex Submariner, so to me the Shogun fills that role. It has a bit of the same dial type, but I think I prefer the hands actually on the Seiko than on the Rolex. It's incredibly comfortable, so I never want to take it off my wrist. But it's the same with the Moonwatch. Although it's a bit heavy, sometimes slightly uncomfortable, it's also a watch that you don't want to take off, and I find myself wearing it a lot these days. So both super cool. Obviously not the same budget. One is 3 times more expensive than the other, and some. Very, very hard to choose, but I'm gonna have to go with the Moonwatch here. And so we reached the final stage, and yes, the two Omega made it. The Moonwatch versus the Aquaterra. Fantastic watches. I enjoy wearing both. Now the Aquaterra is a bit more compact. It has a fantastic caliber. It's beautiful in the way it reflects the lights. I love the blue. It's my favorite color. But I do wear the Moonwatch a lot, and I can never take it off my wrist. Both are fantastic. I feel more confident with the Aquaterra because I know it will keep better time, and I know that it can resist magnetic fields a lot better. It has a date function, and it is obviously water resistant. So yes, it is the better watch. And if I have to have just one watch, it has to be a watch that I can use every day and feel very confident wearing it. So it is the clear winner today. Hopefully I've made a few interesting points during this journey. There are a few watches that I will sell, mainly watches that didn't make the first qualifying round. I think sometimes we get carried away when we buy watches, so my advice would be to take it easy, think twice before you purchase a watch and think about the alternatives. Also consider buying a more expensive watch. I think in the long term, usually you will waste less money doing so, because the entry models, unless you find a limited edition, they will tend to lose more value. Consider purchasing pre-owned, like I did with this Seamaster. Otherwise, with those watches which are made in pretty large quantities, you will usually lose 25 to 30% on the resale value. And often you think, okay, it's going to be my only watch forever, and then a year later you find yourself wanting something else. So do consider that the resale moment will happen. I will lose money on some of the watches, but I will make money on some of the other watches, mainly the ones which are hard to find, like those Rolex homages from Seiko. Or if I ever considered selling the Longines Legend Diver, I would probably make 2 or 3 times the money that I paid. So be reasonable with your money. Don't spend it on flukes. For example, my Pilot watch, the one with the beige dial, it's a bit too big for me, and I've never really wore it. I'm gonna have to sell it, and I will probably take a cut of 25% on it. So on these thoughts, I'll leave you. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments. Tell me what you would have chosen, and any other thoughts. Like the video if you find it interesting. I know it's been a bit too long, but the next one will be shorter, and I'll speak to you soon in the next one. Bye bye.